we made a spontaneous decision to fly halfway around the world for a wild surf trip to the UAE, only to experience so much more. First up, 6 incredible days in Abu Dhabi. Leaving Southern California, we caught our first sunset over the Canadian border, then experienced our second one while landing in Qatar. We had a quick stop at Doha Airport to switch planes before a short leap over to Abu Dhabi. We touched down late and got picked up by our driver a little after 11 p.m. We were visiting during Ramadan, and the streets were lined with decorations and lights in celebration. We were staying at the Conrad Abu Dhabi Etihad Towers. First impressions were wonderful and check-in was sweet. You also quickly learn who's running the place. Right off the bat, you find that you're in a land that spares no expense. Very flashy, good quality, and everything seems to be bigger and better, including our room. High up on the 33rd floor, Jen and I agreed this was the most luxurious hotel we had stayed in. Timeshares and Airbnbs are different, but out of hotels, this takes the cake. Stoked on our room and staring at the bed, we decided to call it a night while admiring the view. In typical fashion, I was up early and getting my bearings on the area we'd be calling home for the week. I thought I'd catch a sunrise, but being droneless on this trip, and giant buildings combined with a completely flat city, made it tough to find. But don't get me wrong, I did enjoy soaking in a new culture and admiring their eye-catching architecture. By this time, the princess and I were extremely hungry. After tackling our longest flight ever and only snacking because we passed on the interesting food selections on the plane, we hadn't had a meal in over 24 hours. So we opted to try the Conrad's renowned breakfast buffet. And oh damn, what a good choice. Smoothies, fresh juices, Asian, Western, local, eggs and omelet bar, fresh pancakes, waffles or French toast, salads and sandwiches, desserts, and incredible breads. They had it all. Highly, highly recommended. Stuffed and re-energized, we explored the Conrad's beach and pool area, and then strolled through their own indoor mall, window shopping, admiring their art, and laughing at the fact that they had their own Aston Martin dealership. They had some really cool water features that included fantastic natural stone and tile work. One of my favorites was the piece in the lobby.
The Louvre Museum was the first major site of our trip. Now you may be thinking, the Louvre Museum, isn't that in Paris, France? And you're not wrong. The UAE and France have a 40-year agreement, and this museum has been described as France's largest cultural project abroad. It is built on the only natural island in Abu Dhabi. There are pieces of art from all over the world, and the theme is how art from different continents and cultures intertwine and show similarities throughout time. The architecture of the building is stunning, and the roof reminded us of the Bird's Nest Stadium in Beijing. This is an island of construction and growth. Cranes crowd the skyline, building more museums like the Guggenheim, residential buildings, and shortly after we left, a new Team Lab museum opened. Check out our Osaka video for a peek of one in Japan. From the Art of the Louvre Museum, we found our way to the Mandarin Emirates Palace to soak in the architecture of this world-famous hotel. It's so beautiful that they allow the public to view its grand entrance and lobby. There is even a restaurant on the premise that serves a gold cappuccino, and we heard rumors of soft serve ice cream dipped in gold. Day turns into night quickly when you're exploring in another country. We headed out to the marina under the lights of Ramadan. There is a mall at the point along with the Marina Hotel. In the mall, we stumbled across an old family favorite for dinner. After a fulfilling meal, we got to walk it off with a relaxing stroll along the boardwalk to end the evening.
This was it. The whole reason behind traveling to the UAE. The highly anticipated Surf Abu Dhabi. Yep, the Kelly Slater Wave Pool 2.0. We watched Katie, our local surf phenom, win the first ever contest that was held here. And Jen said, wouldn't it be cool to go there? Next thing you know, boom, on a plane. We could bombard you with information, but instead I decided to make a separate video to cover the full experience. For now, we'll just share some simple details and tell you that it was everything we thought it would be and so much more. We had the first session of the day with 2 other guys from Portugal. After a safety briefing, some basic instructions, and the staff warming it up, it was Jen's turn to kick things off. It took some getting used to, because the wave was definitely different than Mother Ocean. But after I made a couple of board changes, and we each caught a left and a right, it was game on. What a high. We were still trying to comprehend the fact that we flew to Abu Dhabi to ride this wave. Regrets? No way. This opportunity was just open to the public in October of 2024, and a large part of the experience is the facilities and its great staff. The pools, showers, a shop, food, everything you could possibly need. But wait, what's this? Somebody canceled? Do I want to surf again? Shit yeah, more time in the water? Let's do this. Sitting watching the other sessions after us, it was finally time to say goodbye, for now. One thing's for sure, we couldn't stop smiling. The experience at the pool had been incredible, but we were spending the second half of the day exploring Qasr al Watan, or also known as the Presidential Palace. This is a working palace that has been open to the public since 2019. The interior and exterior are an elaborate example of Arabian artistry, culture, and tradition. It was such a pretty evening, and the colors with the angles and the shapes were just so photogenic. You have to purchase a ticket to visit the palace. But if you time it right, they close the gates for evening, and if you're in before closing time, you get to enjoy Palace in Motion. It's a light show sharing the past, present, and future of the Emirates. The colors contrasting on the palace against the evening sky made it seem as though we were in a theater, not outside in the elements. It was actually a pretty cool little bonus to end the evening.
Already 4 days in and having a blast, we did a 5-mile walk into the city for breakfast and then came back along the shorelines of Corniche Beach, offering a mix of family, single, and general public areas with varying entry fees, which seemed a bit strange. Weather was very comfortable, but it felt good to clean up and relax at the pad before jumping into our next adventure.
Up next was our Arabian desert tour that we scheduled through Desert Rose. We got picked up at our hotel by our driver and then added 2 other couples, Des and Wendy from England and Max and Elise from Luxembourg. We would all be spending the next 6 hours together and started things off by deflating the tires on our Land Cruiser to do a little dune bashing.
Get low when the whistle go. Get low when the whistle go.
When we booked the tour, we really weren't looking forward to getting tossed around in an off-road vehicle, but it ended up being better than we thought. We had a really cool driver, and we're rolling with 16 other vehicles, which seemed like a lot, but he said in prime season there's 60. During our bashing, there was one vehicle that had a person get car sick and one that rolled a tire off the rim. Get low when the whistle go. We arrived at our destination for the evening, a desert compound filled with plenty of things to keep us busy and entertained.
Hello.
Take me to Abu Dhabi, that is where I wanna be. Arabian nights will set you free. Take me to Abu Dhabi.
Falcons, camels, henna tattoos, all kinds of fun and different things to experience. But there was nothing better than actually having your feet in the sand of the real Arabian desert. It was amazing to witness how quickly the combination of the wind and the sand could hit the reset button and erase any evidence of a human presence. The setting sun with its warm glow off of the rolling dunes was amazing, and it was just calling for another photo session. But it was time to head back to camp for dinner and a show. We woke up the next day and I swear that guy was still spinning. It seemed to be contagious, and I didn't feel so bad watching Jen thinking I was the only one still feeling the groove. Craving that breakfast, we returned to our buffet and put down some food. Then shortly after, we headed up to the Conrad's observation deck at 300. These 360-degree panoramic views on the 74th floor are the highest viewpoint in all Abu Dhabi, and a complimentary perk for staying at the Conrad. It made me miss my drone not having this vantage point at my fingertips, but I was thankful to get these views on such a wonderful day. The front desk called the day before and asked how we were liking our stay and if there was anything they could do for us. I said that it had been perfect, except I wish they could clean the windows. Abracadabra! Done. It was just a coincidence because she said they get cleaned every 3 months, but I'll tell you what, if you need a job and you want job security, there's plenty of glass here in the UAE.
Enjoying our hotel and its surroundings, we decided to soak in some rays at the pool and connecting beach. The water felt great, and I can't tell you how thankful we were for the weather. Our entire stay in Abu Dhabi was in the mid-70s during the day and high 60s at night. Although I have to admit the desert excursion did reach a comfortable 90 degrees before the evening cool-off. This March and April visit was perfect conditions for anyone interested. Next on the agenda was the iconic Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque. We made plans to go with our friends Des and Wendy that we met on the desert tour. The mosque is a stunning feat of architecture, and we wanted to experience it with the morning and evening colors. But it was very tough and very crowded since we were visiting during Eid, the pinnacle of Ramadan. The center courtyard was closed off and covered, The crowds and worshippers were numerous. There were TV cameras set up for Eid and free box meals laid out for the celebration.
It was special visiting at this time, but also frustrating and hard to document the mosque's beauty. The sun was setting, and after slowly meandering through the lines and getting a peek of the elegance of the interior, I had to apologize to Des and Wendy, because Jen already knows how I can be when a cinematic opportunity arises, and time was ticking. They all said to count them in, and that they were ready for action. We got lucky and caught a taxi out in front with golden hour upon us. We arrived just in time at Wahat Al-Karama, and man, was it worth it. Wahat Al-Karama, which translates to Oasis of Dignity, is a war memorial across the highway from the Grand Mosque. It has a perfect little reflection pool and the beautiful views at sunset, where myself, along with a dozen other cameras, set up to capture and witness the poster shots of our trip.
We got to hear them shoot the cannons, which ended fasting for the day, and then we sat in peaceful bliss, just watching the colors change into the night.
The time had come to turn the page on our Abu Dhabi experience, and we thought there would be no better way to close things out than to hit the water once again for our second day at the wave pool. Ready? It was a beautiful morning. Water was 79 degrees. Jen and I were starting this session alone, and the guys asked if I wanted the first wave, which was usually the prettiest, classiest one of the day. Yes please. We caught a ton of waves and had so much fun. The team even allowed Jen and I to share our last little left together before wrapping up our biggest surf adventure to date.
Drowning myself. Another day I'll breathe again, and I'll meet you there.
We thanked our friends and said our goodbyes because the time had come to pack our bags and continue our Arabian adventure in the ultra-modern city of Dubai.